Seksele kancane sizophumelela. Yo yo yo. Seksele kancane. Seksele kancane sizophumelela. Yo yo yo. Seksele kancane. Seksele kancane sizophumelela.
Orlando Pirates ezika Makgopa ezagebhula umhlaba kaMasipala zawuthi khapha phezulu against TX Galaxy, the 7th match, your Orlando Pirates, and they went on to win that game by 2 goals to 0. And Orlando Pirates are now 6 points behind number 1 with 3 games in hand. But Mapagania, we know games in hand are not points in hand or point at hand, and we need to respect that. Bafethu, welcome to the BigDaddy Football Corner. Tshegofatso Makhubu, we are back again. This is the post-match tactical analysis between Orlando Pirates and TX Galaxy, the game that finished on a Tuesday evening. Beautiful to see Mapagania singing. Whenever you were listening on the TV, it was a song after song, Senzo Mayiwa, Sizophumelela, Sekusele kancane. I don't know, people, if they notice, Bafethu, how difficult this game was, how, again, important this win was, and how massive this win was needed, because this is, for me, before this match, I said, on Twitter, this is, for me, the second final. Or let me say this is a final. I think every Orlando Pirates match now is going to be a final, because in any other season, this is a game where we could have Orlando Pirates easily, went on and probably drawn that particular match, or even lose, where Orlando Pirates sometimes in critical games for the past season, they always, drop the ball. Let's go into the match. The lineup came out, and when it came out, I went on Twitter. There was mixed feelings, mixed view of how the lineup should have been. Why is X and Y not playing? But for me, after doing a couple of a tactical analysis for the couple of years, I tend to realize that everyone is going to have preferences of how he sees the lineup, and how he chooses the lineup. And at some point, we need to sit and accept what the coach have gone with, regardless of what you believe in it. And then you just go and look at the detail of why X player was played, why wasn't played. And then based on that, you can come up and say, maybe this could have been going this way in terms of the lineup. Right in the 2nd minute of the match, Moremi hit the woodwork. And I was like, haha, guys, it seems like goals will be raining here. Rele starting the juice in midfield, playing in that number 10 role. I don't know what you guys think, about Rele playing that number 10 role. I've said it last season a couple of times on Twitter, even to say, for me, his future role, Rele, is in that the number 10 role. That boy there, he's smooth, he's comfortable, he's easy, he's relaxed, he's enjoying his game. And I think Moremi's speed, is going to cause a lot of chaos for teams, and how he always finds ways to cross the ball in any other angle. And every time he crosses the ball, he really causes, a chaos a lot of times. And for me, his unpredictability, his frequency, of making the right decision, his timing, of how he plays, and I just think that his all-round game here, Orlando Pirates, is very, very, very good, because we can attack in any way. Pagates could be in diagonals, vertical passes, we can go in the crosses, go around, come back, and cross the balls. We've got so many ways this season in which we can attack, the final third of the opposition. Guys, Dion Horto, for me, I don't know if you guys have noticed. I think in the past couple of games, I think about 2 or 3 games, I'm just seeing some exceptional things, some exceptional details in Hoto's game where his decision making, at times even his passes, you ask yourself, is this Hoto? You know, they kind of a little bit creepsy. He's got a little bit of incredible decision making in some moments, and I'm like, damn. There was another scoop where he scooped the ball over the defensive line and really attacked that one. I said, this is a delicious pass. I'm not gonna even talk about the goal. We'll talk about it at the end. And then there was that penalty, you know, that Makgopa scored. I've said it in this channel so many times. I don't like to talk about referee decision because one day they favor you, the other they go the other way around. There's always somebody who's going to benefit one of the way. There's another one who's going to also, you know, there's times where the decision is not gonna go your way. But this one, I think it's the referee decision to say which way it could have gone the other way, right? In the 24th minute, there's something that I noticed, and I said to myself, Orlando Pirates will need to learn very quickly this season in terms of how to kill off games. Because this is one game that I think Orlando Pirates could have easily won the game in the first half. At times in the final third, we seem to want to overplay, you know, when we need to take shots, we want to pass. You know, at times, I think I've said this before, that if there's one thing that I want him to develop in his game, is to have that killer instinct where he will kill off that one chance, but he have a tendency of wanting to overplay at times in the final third, where he just needs that killer shot, you know, and that killer pass that is going to kill off teams. We need to kill teams, guys, when we get into games. Also, Smelebele, I felt that his decision making at times was a little bit questionable. I think he at times I felt he was a little bit selfish. He held onto the ball for too long and wanted to dribble everyone. I think he had something in his mind where he wanted to really do well into this game. I just felt at times that he was putting so much pressure into his game, but he is an incredible player, you know, and I like his versatility, you know, on the right back position, that he gives you, you know, a lot of things that, you know, a right winger cannot give. Because at times you will think he's an outside winger, he's going to come in, give you crosses. No, he comes into the half space and those 1-2s and want to play over the defensive line and want to dribble you, you know, and how he's able to maneuver the ball in very tight spaces with those passes. It is incredible, you know, to see. The other thing that I noticed was ETX Galaxy. There's a trend that I'm seeing now with teams that are playing against Orlando Pirates. I think I saw it against this Welewele. I'm seeing it again, where they target the pivot and they ensured that the pivot doesn't play. I saw that ETX Galaxy tried to copy what Welewele did, where they will make sure that the pivot, they use the physicality to actually foul them and may frustrate them, you know, by kicking them. I think there was a moment where in less than 1 minute, there were three fouls and done into that midfield area. You could see that the intention was to disrupt Orlando Pirates, you know, but also making fouls and also kicking them around just to add a little bit of bite and frustrate them. But what they did extra, which Tshegofatso didn't do, was the man-to-man press on the pivot. Whenever they had the ball, they always had a man that was next to them to ensure that they were not able to to actually play into that midfield. When I watch the match, you know, before the first half finishes, you know, I look at the tempo, the speed, the intensity that Orlando Pirates, I said to myself, Orlando Pirates is going to win this game. Because I could not see Bombunjana, I could not see the entire squad, you know, say TX Galaxy maintaining the tempo, that speed, that pace that Orlando Pirates, you know, had. And also the fact that Orlando Pirates already had Apolis, Bombule, you know, Mabasa on the bench that were going to come in and bring the firepower. That's why when I look at substitutions, TX Galaxy substituted a lot. I think they used almost all their substitution. If you look at in the 72nd minute, Opam Taung, he started pulling a hamstring. I said, that's the Orlando Pirates I know. The Orlando Pirates that is going to make you run in the first half, run around, increase the tempo. In the second half, they drop the beat. Once they pick it up again with new substitutions, you know, you are going to be in trouble. Around the 30th to the 40th minute, there was a time where I felt Steel Galaxy, whenever they had the ball, they had no idea what else to do. I think they exhausted any ways and means of how to penetrate, the Orlando Pirates defense. And big ups to the defensive shape of Orlando Pirates, especially in the first half. Again, I will say it, that back four, your Orlando Pirates this time around, it gives you that comfort, it gives you that peaceful sleep. Whenever they play, you have this smell because these guys are not going to concede any goal. I think this is probably the sixth game, if I'm not mistaken, where they have not conceded any goal. And big ups to that back four, that even if when it's changed, it maintains being the same. In the second half, I saw TX Galaxy dropping Velasa from being that false nine. When Zindonga came in, he dropped a little bit, and then his role changed again. Velasa, his role now was to say, please take care of Rele, because Rele is giving us a lot of issues, and ensure that he doesn't play. If you are not on Urele, make sure Unemtanjela, and next to him, you also make sure that he doesn't play. And because those were the players that Orlando Pirates play through them, to be able to get out of the high pressure zone and high intensity zone. And it was very interesting to see in that instance. Then 68th minute, Orlando Pirates, Mabasa came in, Apolis came in, that sense of Meyiwa song started in the background. So, and I was like, come on, guys. It was very, very, very interesting, to see. And then in the last 10 minutes of the second half, I felt that the Orlando Pirates midfield opened a little bit. The area, in front of the back four, at times even in front of the midfield, at that red zone area, I just felt that at times it was a little bit open, it had holes in it, it had gaps in it, and I could see that they were overlated that area and had extra play into that area, and I felt that in the last 10 minutes, they caused a lot of problems, specifically in that specific area, and then Unem Tangela. I think people that are following me on Twitter, they've seen so much I wrote about him, even before he joined Orlando Pirates, especially when the rumors came in that he's joining Orlando Pirates. I watched him and I said to him, he is an incredible footballer in terms of his technical ability. You cannot, you cannot counter or you cannot falter it in any way. But for me, it is resilience that I love the most. It is arrogance, on the ball. It is attitude that he has in the ball, and the fact that you can't take the ball away from him, and the intensity and the speed at which he plays the game. And for me, the competition again that he has in midfield, it always says any player that comes to play, he will want to lift his game up and ensure that whenever he gets a chance, whoever is competing, he's in trouble. That's why for me, I'm saying, this season, I think Utito is going to be trouble in that number 10 role, because when Rele is there, he doesn't want to let that position go. When Mbule is there, I've said it so many times how tactically he makes the 4-3 Orlando Pirates tick. And right now, I'm also seeing a potential number 10 in Nemtajela. I'm saying, oh God. I think Utito is in trouble. And I've said it before that I honestly think that maybe moving Utito into the number 8 role will possibly be, a better solution. The last thing was Unem Tangela. At times I think there was 2, 3, 4 instances where I just felt that he just needed to lift his head up and look up police on the other end and just place the ball. At times he wanted to play more on the left-hand side where it was closer to him and he was not lifting up his head and looking there and play the ball into that area. Orlando Pirates poked, and then the goal came. Tshegofatso Mabasa, 50th goal at Orlando Pirates. If I'm not mistaken, he's 2 goals shy from Utso, who's got 52 goals. And guys, I always say records are to be broken, and this generation is breaking record. Now I understand why whenever he was, there were always, those rumors that he's wanted in North Africa, and he rejected that role because I think he wanted to be a legend of Orlando Pirates and actually go on and score the goals. And I think he's very close now, to be the top goal scorer of Orlando Pirates. And again, Sitima Pagania, aye.